So hello again, this is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, and I've got some cards to show you today and a technique that I learned this week from JenniferMaguireInk.com. So that's JenniferMaguireInk.com. She is a card maker. She's not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but she is a card maker, and I found her video on the internet. You'll have to check out her site. And she calls this a split card technique. So these are the cards, a couple of the cards I made using her technique, and I'm going to reproduce those today with you and show you how it's done, and we'll get started. So the first thing you're going to need is just your base cards, and of course they are 5.5 by 8.5. Scored at 4 1/4. See if I can get that right today. And since we're making 2 cards, I've got 2 bases here, and we'll burnish the edges, and then we're going to attach the first layer. And the first layer for each of these, one is from Melon Mambo and the other is Flirty Flamingo. And they are 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and we'll attach those to the fronts of the card bases. Line up my edges, and because of the size that it's cut, it's just an 1/8 inch border all around. There's that one. Just that little tiny bit of white just kind of helps make the card pop, I think. So there's the 2 base cards. So we're going to set those aside, and we're going to start working on the art piece, what I call the art piece. And I have stamped some flowers and cut them out. So here's some flowers. These are from the Tasteful Touches. It's a new stamp set coming out in the annual catalog called Tasteful Touches. So I cut out, stamped and cut these. These are stamped with Melon Mambo and Flirty Flamingo. And then I stamped some leaves, and the leaves came from a set called To a Wild Rose, and it's a multi-step stamp, but I just used 2 of them, and I did Old Olive for the dark out parts of the leaves, and the centers are Granny Apple Green. So I just stamped and cut out a whole bunch of those. And then I also stamped a couple of large flowers like this because I thought I might need them, and that flower came from Healing Hugs, again stamped in Flirty Flamingo. Okay, so those are the pieces we're going to be using. I also created the sentiments, and these sentiments came from, get my notes up here, Healing Hugs is this Get Well Soon, and Just Saying Hello came from the Tasteful Touches set. So they're both stamped with Memento Black, and then I used a dauber and put some Melon Mambo around the edges. So those we'll be using those as well. So to make she calls the split card technique, you take a piece of Whisper White, and for where I'm going to do it, because I'm going to layer it with another 1/8 inch border around with the color, I have cut this piece 5 1/4 by 8. Okay, then I took a pencil and I drew a line. You're going to cover this line up, so it doesn't matter. It's not going to show. And I drew a line right down the center at the 4 inch mark. And now we're going to start attaching the flowers, and we're going to attach them right down the center like, you know, of the card. And you just got to play with it a little bit and decide how you want them to look. I don't want to go every other one, so let's see. And some can go under and some can go over, and it's just a matter of deciding how you want them to lay out. And it's going to look different every time you do it. You're not going to have the same look. I do have a tendency sometimes to start by just putting the center one on, and I'm only putting some Tombow right in the middle of the flower because I might want to tuck some things. I'm going to be tucking leaves in and things like that. So I'm going to start with the center flower, and then I'm going to put this one so it comes over, and this one I'll tuck under, and it's okay if it goes past the edge of the card because we'll just trim that off later. And I don't know how many you'll end up using, but this is what I ended up with. Was I made 8 flowers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flowers all together, and we'll just save that one. I'm not going to use it right now. So those are all stuck down. Then I'm going to decide where I want my leaves. I just really liked these leaves. And so now I just need to decide how I'm going to put those in here. That looks nice. And it's, like I said, it's okay if it goes off the edge a little bit, so I'm going to probably put one right there. And then I think I'll do some up the other side as well. Just get a feel for where I want them. And they don't have to all be triples either, but okay, so I think that'll work. So let's put some adhesive on the back of these, and we'll get those stuck down like that. Let's go this way. I had that one that way. I hate it when my tape doesn't want to work. There we go. And let's put this one here. Try and keep that in the center of the, so you can see what I'm doing. Some leaves overlapping, and I'm thinking, like I said, you don't have to use the triple leaf for everything, so I'm going to cut one of the leaves off, and I want something to be kind of over the top of the flowers, so I'm just going to get this, and I think I'm going to tuck it up under here like this so that we've got something coming down like that. I like that. Maybe I'll do one more. You know, when I'm designing a card, I go through a lot of trial and error. But I'm going to stop there. I like what that looks like. So there you have it built all over that center line. And now I'm going to cut it in half. So I'm going to take the paper trimmer, and we're going to put this edge of the card on the 4-inch mark, because remember this is 4 by 8 and we want it at the halfway point. So I'm going to line that up, put this down, and it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. Let's see what happens. Kind of helping it stay in place there a little bit because it's a little bit of a tight cut. Oops, and we'll get that out of the way. I'll put that back up there. And there it is, cut in half. Okay, now I'm just going to turn it over and cut off the extras that are sticking past the edges. So this technique will work with any kind of a larger design image. It could be balloons, it could be hearts, it could be any number of images, but it does work especially well with flowers. And so there you see how it comes together. And so that's made 2 separate card fronts. So now I'm going to bring back in my bases, and I'm going to attach these to the bases that we made earlier. And again, this is just 1/8 of an inch border, so it's very, very thin and fine. So it's just a pop of color around. And then let's do this one. I'm going to run out of tape. There it is. So here's one ready to go. I remembered to fill one. No guarantees on that. Sometimes I forget. Okay, so then we got this one to attach. Like that. And there's the 2 cards, and see that's one is going to open this way and has the design down the opening side, and this one I put it so it opens that way. Now you could turn them around if it hasn't got a definitive top and bottom. You could turn them around, but this is how I did it. Then I just attached the sentiments with dimensionals. So let me get my dimensionals out. And for the one, I thought it would be fun to put a little bit, as you can see, I used that flower and I put it under the edge and added some leaves. I'm going to do that again. I really liked that. So I've got my sentiment here, and I'm going to just kind of lightly set it in place. I don't want to stick it down yet because I want to cut this off. And I'm just going to cut this flower off because I don't want the whole thing underneath, and I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to attach it with snail. You see. So it's going to go under here like that. Just peeking out, and I've already put dimensionals on that sentiment, so there's that. And then the leaves. And I tucked those up like that. And that card's done. Oh no, I had some pearls. I made some pearls. I colored these with the blends pins, so they are the blend pins cut dry permanent on non-porous surfaces. So I made some with the, and we'll just stick some pearls on there just to kind of add a little more bling. Put them anywhere you want. There, that looks good. So there's that one. And then for this one, I turned the sentiment a different way. I had it just go this way. And again, I'm going to attach it with dimensionals. Oops. So I put some dimensionals on the back. Peel those up. And we'll put that on right about there, I think. And then I colored some of the pearls with some Granny Apple Green blend pen. And we'll put some more bling on this one. Do give them time to dry, because if you try to put these on before the ink dries, you'll end up with spots where you don't want them. Ask me how I know. And so there's that one. So there's my 2 cards using that split card technique. Isn't that fun? So then I wanted to show you that we could do it with some different things. So I'm gonna share with you, not the full how-to, but here I used the Painted Poppies stamp set. And I stamped these with Memento Black, and then I colored them with the blends pens, and I colored them with Melon Mambo and Mango Melody. And the leaves again are done with Granny Apple Green and Old Olive. And I just colored them, and then I took that little blotch stamp from Painted Poppies and added just a little bit of texture to those flowers. I think that really helped the flowers look nice. And so that's what I did. I also used that same stamp for putting a little bit of this blue. The blue you see on the right card, that's one of the new in colors. And the Misty Midnight is what it's called. So that was kind of fun. And I cut the words out from Well Said Dies, Love and Sympathy. And I used the Misty Moonlight paper for the background on this as well. But this is the Painted Poppies set that I used, and this little blotch is what I used for the back of this, and how I put some different coloring in the flowers to make them look a little bit more realistic, I felt. And I just built them exactly the same way that I showed you with the first card, but there it is with the Painted Poppies stamp set. So then, one more, I got to thinking about the new stamp set, Ornate Style stamp set, where you can stamp this full image. And I go, well, I don't really need to do a split card with this. I can just do this and then cut it in half and use half and half on a card. So that's what I did. I stamped it and colored it, and I cut it right in half, and then I put it on some white, Whisper White, that had been embossed with the Brick and Mortar stamp set. And then I layered them with some color, same exact layering I did on the other one. And then this one is the Stitched So Sweetly Dies, number 2 and number 3. And this is Purple Posy paper. And then I just used some linen thread and created it so it looked like it was hanging on the wall or something. So that was that one. And then this, the hearts came from I hate it when I lose my papers. Anyway, the hearts came from one of the die sets that we have, and this is in 2 pieces. And the outside I just colored with a blends pen. That's the Highland Heather Dark blends pen. For the flowers, I colored with Highland Heather and Poppy and Olive and different ones. And then some Daffodil Delight. And on the daisies, I added some shimmer. That's from the Wink of Stella pens. And then I just put them on the backgrounds. But this one gives you the same idea without having to build it like I did before. But there you go. There's some ideas and hopefully some new things to try. Let me know what you think, and be sure and subscribe. Thank you very much.